Nini ti nini, yo take my zom nama. Katek my ya leg zom nama. Ya wen katibe. Yini lebe yini, katek my lamvora. Katek my abutanyini. Yelema, tell me who's gonna be ruthless? One big road of life. We are bound, forever bound to this great big wheel of strife. It goes around and comes around. So everybody get ready now to do some good. Everybody get steady now to do some right. Everybody get ready now to do some good. Hey, everybody get steady now to do some right. Nini go taba, 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 taba. Nini go taba, 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 taba. Nini go taba, taba. Go men can go for Maria to go taba. Tinako tinini go taba, tinako tinini la taba. Tigel taba tapping, kaduna yala sati talakon. Katepado tin, katepado lebe, la giligete. Katepado tin, katepado lebe. So everybody get ready now to do some good. Everybody get steady now to do some right. Everybody get ready now to do some good. Hey, everybody get steady now to do some right. Cool running down this one big road of life. Cool, cool running at this great big wheel of strife. Cool running down this one big road of life. Cool, cool running at this great big wheel of strife. Cool running. So everybody get ready now to do some good. Hey, everybody get steady now to do some right. Everybody get ready now to do some good. Hey, everybody get steady now to do some right. Cool running down this one big road of life. Cool, cool running at this great big wheel of strife. Cool running down this one big road of life. Cool, cool running at this great big wheel of strife. Cool running down this one big road of life. Cool running at this great big wheel of strife. Cool running down this one big road of life. Cool, cool running.
Refreshing.
What a refreshing way to start our Monday morning.
Yes, I mean, I think it's the first time we've actually had a full band, more or less. You know, I'm feeling very African. It's a blend of African and modern tradition. Not saying African does not equate to modernity, but then I just love the music.
Yeah, so it's a blend of culture, modernity. Yeah. It's just beautiful, and I think it captures where we are right now as a people.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you? How was your weekend?
That was Lamisi and her band.
Yes,
so we'll be talking to her shortly.
Yes, and enjoying more of her music throughout
My weekend
the
was
program.
super. My weekend was, well, I spent the entire weekend actually monitoring the election. So Friday, Saturday, I was just monitoring the elections and the aftermath of the election. I'm talking about the NPP Delegates Conference, and it was quite exciting. I would say that I did not see much of a surprise in the outcome of the elections. So, well, more or less.
So all the candidates you thought were going to...
Yes, I mean, all the candidates that were put forward as... I spoke to TESCON, a few delegates from TESCON and the likes. I spoke to a few members of parliament on the NPP side, and it appears that these were their preferred candidates. So I wasn't really surprised when the outcome came this way. And I think, well, the democracy has spoken in the NPP.
Yes. And I think it was a tight race between Stephen and Team, though, and Freddie Blay. I think it was a tight, especially with the whole buses saga going on. So it was a tight one. I didn't know who was going to take that one.
Last night on City TV, Duke's program, press conference, it appears a consensus that the guests were talking about loyalty versus money. That's what seemed to be the consensus amongst the three guests: loyalty versus money. And according to them, the votes may have gone for money instead of loyalty.
What do you mean money?
Well, they were of the opinion that Freddie Blay may have pumped a lot of money into it, using the bus alone, even as an example. And loyalty, looking at the fact that Stephen Intim had tried several times in the past, and now was his time. So he should have won.
I think Freddie Blay said he just did his job, right? And the money was borrowed. So I don't know to what extent money played a role in that.
Yes. I think eventually there'll be a concrete story in respect of this. I think maybe UNB should also come clear as to whether Freddie Blay is purchasing the buses, or Freddie Blay was a guarantor signing on behalf of the NPP. So it's very important who is actually purchasing the buses. Is it the NPP or is it Freddie Blay as a person? Very important for Ghanaians to get that clarity, because now the special prosecutor has been dragged into these waters. And well, depending on his findings, we actually would see whether Freddie Blay would indeed, spend the whole 4 years as chairman, or whether a poor Afoko story may be repeated.
Oh, no. And I think the president's speech was really about let's avoid that from happening. And
well, the president's speech cannot derail the special prosecutor. One special prosecutor said, you know what, I'm going to look into this matter, even if he is elected. So I think
the energy for me, because I was in Koforidua all weekend, was that people just wanted to play it safe and stick to the people they know. Right? So if
the winning team.
Yeah, not necessarily the winning team, but if I know Wilberforce served in this capacity and he helped us win the elections, right, then perhaps I will bet on him to help us retain power come 2020, right? They didn't really, it was a very risk-averse move, which makes sense because we are just two years to go. So it's safer to just stick with the candidates,
I feel the accepted assumption that Chairman Freddie Blay was the person who helped them win the election may not be as on point as is being perceived naturally. It could simply mean that Ghanaians were just tired of the NDC. That could be the only reason. So whether or not MPP may have even had a chairman, maybe still Ghanaians would have still voted for MPP. So,
but you will agree with me that there was some sort of division within the party, right, before the likes of Samuel Wuku came in and really helped get the energy back. So internally, there was a lot going on, and at least now they are unified. I really enjoyed Stephen Intim's speech about NPP
I respect
first.
him a lot.
Let's put the party first. I don't know if I would have been that matured, right? I would have probably been like, Jesus, guys, this is my 4th time. Can you cut me some slack?
I mean,
but he really did good.
He did amazing. Anyway, so we do have...
Yes, we have a quick video of just the energy there, what people were expecting before and after the election. So let's check it out right now.
Okay, so this is the ground.
Everybody just trooping in. These are the ladies of NPP and...
about 8,000 people were at the ground.
It was packed.
The Koforidua Technical University was packed.
It was crazy.
Okay, so...
But I was very impressed by how organized it was. And the security was just... Everybody felt safe. Everything was organized to the brim. People felt really safe. And here I'm talking to the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, and he's... Yes.
But we are voting on merit, right? So what candidates will you say have...
I can tell you all the candidates that are vying for the position are very competent people, experienced.
Okay, who are they?
Well, you have Freddie Blay, you have Stephen Intim, you have Samuel Wuku, you have John Boadu, you have Kate Jemfua, you have Joyce Zampari, you have Nana B, you have Dominic. These are solid guys. They have been with the party for a long time. We know their contribution to the party. But what we are saying is that you don't fix it when it's not broken.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
There's a lot of excitement going on. It looks like Nana B just won, but I just want to find out who you were supporting.
I was actually supporting Harry Nana Boache, Nana B.
Okay, why?
We the youth of MPP have always come out with something. You know, we believed in the fact that prior to the 2016 elections, we had a youth organizer who was very vibrant, and then took the party to where we got to. And so we felt that coming into victory, we needed something. We needed someone who could raise us there, who could keep us on power. And that person, we the masses back there, saw that it was no other person than Nana B. Okay. And so we came in all out supporting him because we believed in him. We knew that he could be able to help us so that coming 2020 we can maintain power in this country.
Ma'am, what I say, more feeling about results.
Oh, Nyamiadu, Yaniaji. Every say, Mamma, and any that was saying, I'm a bad mobile. Every saw bar, about boy, who organizers and I are from. So my I just say, police station from Manity to Internal. I think Mao just over supporting Kate instead of Joyce. There been a Mao who said Kate's not best.
Oh, in terms of I'm supporting Kate and I say, like, she's a very strong woman. And yeah, dear, or many pounds that is what I'm doing. Like me panasa, me donna some other.
When I'm up say, or yam namu who say yes, they one way it is Siano, it's a say way near Pessu who our party anymore, especially for women.
Okay, yeah, that's a pa. The Patriotic expect to free in the hot Kate, Jumfua, when they say, yeah, man, or women organizers, no, or Babwaya men about our school feeding programs, no, or bet me a boy be in a jay, so yeah, you man, you be.
So we heard from the delegates, right? So Honorable Kennedy Nyako was one of the people who voted, one of the ministers who voted, and the supporters, of course. So there are a lot of young people who were very excited about Nana Boache and Samuel Wuku. Like it was just hands down. Yeah. Everybody supported them.
Samuel Wuku won marvelously.
Yes.
His song was just, you can't dispute.
And I think he's the youngest ever national organizer. Yes. So congratulations to him. This is a big deal, and I think it's not only a big win for Samuel Wuku, but just to show the youth of NPP the potential of the party. Yes, but it was exciting. I mean, we were there from morning till like 5-6 a.m. when they finally announced it. So I think you guys should see the excitement for yourself and really experience it.
Yes. What actually surprised me was the fact that with the national youth organizer, I knew Henry Nana Boache would win, but I did not expect Kwesi Adua to be second. I thought Kamal Dean would give Nana Boache like a run for his money, or his let's not say money, a run for his campaign,
his credibility or something.
Because I think Kamal Dean has also done solid work for the NDC. He was formerly the Nasarako coordinator, and when in that position, I mean, he was marvelous. He represented the NDC on many on many solid platforms, and he speaks very well. And I thought he would actually give Nana Boache a run for his money, but Nana Boache did amazing. And congratulations to Kwesi Adua also for coming second.
Yes. And we have a quick video of all the excitement for you.
6,000 delegates cast ballots to elect new executives for the 8 positions contested for in the new Patriotic Party's Delegates Conference held in Koforidua. In all, 42 aspirants, including incumbents, contested the various positions, which ranged from National Chairman, General Secretary to National Nasara Coordinator, among others. Some opposition political parties, namely the People's National Convention, PNC, Progressive People's Party, PPP, National Democratic Party, NDP, Convention People's Party, CPP, and the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, were present to deliver their well wishes. However, the country's leading opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, was not represented at the conference. In a solidarity message, representative of the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom, Dr. John Hayward, advised the NPP to focus time, efforts and resources on reaching out to voters.
I think I saw more posters than there are delegates here in the conference. And I wondered, is this really the best use of our resources? I have a lesson from the Conservative Party, which is voters like parties which focus on the voters.
Acting National Chairman Freddie Blay beat stiff competition from close contender Stephen Ntim and Dr. Richard Amwakuba to be elected National Chairman. John Boedu polled 4,277 votes to win the General Secretary race, while incumbent Treasurer Kwabna Abankwayeboa was retained. Immediate past National Youth Organizer Samia Wuku was elected National Organizer, with Henry Nanabuachi beating Dominic Edria and Kamal Dean Abdullahi to become the party's National Youth Organizer. Other winners include Kate Jemfua, National Women's Organizer, Abdul Aziz Haruna Futa, Nasara Coordinator, Rita Talata Asobaire, Frederick Fredua Anto, and Michael Omari-Wadie were elected first, second, and third vice chairpersons respectively. National Youth Organizer-elect Henry Nanabuache assured the youth of the party of inclusiveness in making the party attractive to all. Stephen Ntim, who lost the chairmanship race for the fourth time, pledged his loyalty to the new Patriotic Party.
As usual, my loyalty to the new Patriotic Party is not shaken.
Koforidua, who addressed the newly elected national executives during a Thanksgiving service on Sunday, reminded them of the need to work as a team in defending and promoting the party.
We see ourselves as the servants of the people of Ghana. That is why we have been called to leadership. That we are the servants of the people of Ghana.
Okay.
So that was an exciting experience.
I mean,
I think,
there are two things that I noted from this particular video, from the entire, the fact that, we regard this as power. Want to maintain power or hold power to 20 for 60 years. Power. If we think of leadership as service, we won't be going out of our way to do things that may be untoward for it. Let's not look at this as power, to rule Ghana. No, please. To serve the people of Ghana, I think is a more appropriate way to put it, and not think of it as power. I want to stay in power. I want to get power.
I think to their defense, though, all the candidates were people that the delegates felt genuinely not only served the party, but also wanted to ensure NPP will serve the nation. So when you speak to the supporters, the delegates, they'll tell you, Samia Wuku, because I know him, he's been to my constituency, he's talked to me, he knows my pains, like he gets it, right? And others will also say, these guys have been on the ground. They know our struggle, right? So even Madam Kate, for example. So I don't necessarily agree with the UK Conservative Party guy when he said it's flamboyant and you
see more posters than people. That's the second thing
because genuinely, these guys have worked hard, right? Look, for months, they've been traveling, they've been meeting the people, the delegates, letting them understand why they are the best people for the party. And I really think that the delegates, in the end, they didn't vote on power or money. It was really who has the potential to serve the party and get us where we need to be come 2020.
I think I find Dr. John Hayward's statement very unfortunate that, there were more posters than delegates. Is this good use of our resources and the likes? I think he should have taken his time, probably taken a step back or asked a few questions to try to understand why things are the way they are. Because look, in a campaign, in an election like this, you need to be visible. If you want to win this particular election or an election of the sort, you need to be visible. Your posters need to be out there. So if there are even 6,000 delegates and you have 60,000 posters, it does not necessarily guarantee you a win, but it speaks volumes that you know what, you are able, you are there, you're present. And even in psychology, there's this visual bombardment that could inure to your benefit. People see you a lot, they see your posters a lot. There are many people who went there, and some may have been undecided still. They may have been wondering, for instance, they may have been wondering, maybe they have two favorite candidates not knowing who to vote for. Samia Wuku, for instance, was saying that when it comes to, for instance, a National Youth Organizer position, he's not sure who to vote for. So if you're wondering, for instance, whether you should go for Kwesi Edua or you should vote for Kamaldeen, or you should go for Nana B. Once you get there, psychology has a way of working on your mind. So the person that you may have seen a lot, by the time you realize, you may have voted for the image that you have gotten used to.
I doubt that.
No,
I think a
happens.
picture is not going to change my mind, because I think most delegates, before they got there, they chose the candidate who proved their worth, because this is not a popularity context, right?
Yes,
the future of the party is in their hands. So I think if you hadn't done what you're supposed to do prior to this weekend, and you have thousands of pictures all over the place, it wouldn't change anybody's mind.
The pictures were not only there for the weekend. The pictures have been all over the country for months now.
But most of us just got to Koforidua. Most of the delegates arrived on Saturday.
Wherever the delegates were in their individual home, in front of my house, there are pictures of Kamaldeen. You understand? But he doesn't live in the area. The election was not there. That kind of thing. So my point is that, so that was one. The visuals are important. It works on the minds of voters. And the second part is that judicious use of resources. Now let's look at how even these things go about. It will surprise you to know that, for instance, Chairman Freddie Blay or none of the aspirants probably spent a single cedi on any of the pictures.
So they have sponsors, for example.
Yes, people would, once you put yourself up for an election, you have friends, you have loved ones. A person might say, okay, so I'll do 1,000 posters for you. I'll do 2,000 posters for you. So the candidates themselves would not have even spent a single cedi on it. Apart from...
No, I know someone that... Let's not go there.
Emmanuel, Nana Bediako may have been the only person who spent money on the election.
Why him?
Because he had one vote. He had one vote, so maybe he bought the posters himself. If there were delegates who may have supported him, maybe they would have done some posters to support him, or voted for him.
We have some infographics for you guys. So we're going to go through the candidates and who won, starting with the national executive of the new Patriotic Party. So we'll start with the winners, actually. If we have that picture, we'll just share with you right now. But it looks like we had a few national vice chairpersons. Actually, we had Rita Talata Asobayre.
Yeah, Asobayre
was she was the first national vice chairperson, followed by Koforidua Anto, who is the second national vice chairman, and then Michael Omari-Wadie, third national vice chairman. He will be on the show today.
Yeah, Omari-Wadie will be here in a few minutes.
And of course, the obvious people that we know: John Boadu for general secretary, Sami Owuku, national organizer, Kate Jemfua, national women's organizer. This was a tight one. I think a lot of people did not know who was going to win.
A part of me thought Zampari would win.
Yeah.
A part of me thought Zampari might actually win this particular one. So congratulations, Kate.
Yes, congratulations, Kate. Very well deserved. The women were very happy. Nana B, of course, national youth organizer. Bankwa Yaboa, national treasurer. Abdul Aziz Futa, national Nasara coordinator. And then finally, Freddie Wasimewu Blay, national chairman. So these are the new national executives of the new Patriotic Party, and then we will look at the results for the national chairman.
So with the national chairmanship position, of course, we know Freddie Blay had 3,021 votes, just about 71 more than,
I think it's like 60 or something.
71, about 71 more than Stephen Ayensu and team, who had 2,550 votes. Okay, so let's see also. Richard Amwaku-Ba had just 18. Now, for political analysts, people were hoping he could get in the practical aspect of this particular one as well. So now, okay, should be 471. 471. Yes. Now let's also look at so congratulations, of course, Chairman Freddie Blay. So congratulations.
Yes. And we already talked about the national vice chairperson, so we're going to look at the results. Rita Talata Asobayre won by 3,671 votes, followed by Frederick Anto, 3,185, and then finally Michael Omari-Wadie, 3,028 votes. And then the rest, this was a very tight one actually. Emmanuel Kenwood Norwosu got 1,325 votes. Vida Ajekum Echampong received 1,130, and George Isaac Amo got 1,222 votes. And finally, Miss Agnes Chigabatia. Yes, got 636 votes.
Well, Isaac Amo did not win, but at least he did some. He had issues with his parliamentary election, which actually went to court a couple of years ago. And Isaac Amo was actually in my class at the law school. So congratulations for coming in 4th place. It's still a win in a way. Yeah. Anyway, for the General Secretary position of the NPP, John Boadu, who's the substantive General Secretary for now, as he was playing an acting role previously, he had 4,277 votes as compared to his competitor, Richard Ahiagba, who had 1,244.
And finally, the one that I think everybody knew this was going to be,
hands down.
Samis.
Hands down.
Sami Oku, 4,913 votes. Sadiq Nabi-Chienga got 466 votes, and Emmanuel Akoto 142 votes.
He did well.
Yes.
Emmanuel Akoto, I didn't think would get that many votes.
Did really well. I was really surprised by the National Youth Organizer results, especially Emmanuel. But let us know what.
Okay. Well, National Youth Organizer, the results. Henry Nana Boakye had 423 votes. That's solid. About almost 100 or so more than Dominic. Almost. Well, anyway, Dominic Kwesi Edria.
Just try not to do the math right now.
No, it's a bit over 150. Anyway, so Dominic Kwesi Edria had 246 votes, and Kamal Dean Abdullahi had 102. I thought he would get more than that. And Emmanuel Nana Bediakon, he had a single vote. And I'm just wondering, because on his way to Koforidua, I believe he was driven to the place by another delegate. So I wonder how come or maybe, let's just assume maybe the other delegate voted for him and he did not vote for himself.
And it was raining.
Congratulations, all of you.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, congratulations to everyone. I think they are all winners, because at the end of the day, NPP won. But it was raining heavily, so I don't know if the rain had anything to do with Emmanuel's. But I think my personal highlight.
I don't think he should stand for election in MPP again. I don't think he should.
I think he should. Resilience is key. And we even have Nanado as an example of not giving up your first try. You have to keep going and keep going till you win. You shouldn't feel like you're defeated.
No, you see, if you look at Stephen Ntim's vote. Stephen Ntim is true, he's gone about 4 times, but he had 2,550. So you know about 2,550 people in the NPP want you to win.
Yes.
And maybe if it wasn't Freddie Blay and it was any other person, you could have won. So your numbers could have increased. But then if you have only 1 vote, you are the only one supporting yourself.
No, but with these things, charisma plays a lot in it, and familiarity, right? So it just means maybe get out there more, right? Get the party to really see the work that you're doing. I don't think you should just shy away from it because you failed the first try. You shouldn't at all. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with just 1 step, and I'm personally very proud of him for making this move. No. I'm very proud of him for making this move, and I think he should keep going. He should keep, and it's a life lesson for all of us, right? Sometimes we try something, we feel terribly our first time. It does not mean we should not continue. It's just a lesson, right? Failure is part of the process. You just learn and you keep going.
Yeah, but sometimes it's redirection. I personally think he may play a solid role in maybe another, another office or another role in the NPP, in the party, or in the nation. But he should just take a second look at it. But
my personal highlight was really Stephen Ntim. I mean, that was the highlight of my weekend, because for me, I was one of the few people that were like, I hope this man wins, because I love underdogs, and I love people who try hard, people who are resilient, people who are persistent. So I was really looking forward to it. But I was proud when he said his loyalty to MPP is unshaken despite the 4th defeat. And there's actually an article on that on City Newsroom that we will look at later on. But the quotes that I want us to look at quickly is that he goes on to say, it's rather unfortunate that I have to lose for the 4th time in my attempt to serve the party in the capacity of national chairman. However, once again, it is a victory for the new Patriotic Party because we have succeeded in electing our new crop of national officers to steer the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. As usual, my loyalty to the new Patriotic Party is not shaken by what has taken place. We can continue counting on Stephen and team as usual because it is party first. Thank you all very much.
Right.
I was so proud of him.
At this point, I'm just wondering whether Stephen and team would want to go for another election, whether he wants to go the 5th time.
I think he should.
But
there's nothing stopping him from doing it.
If the voters, one of the reasons they decided to go for Freddie Blay was because Freddie Blay got you to... for instance, Freddie Blay, according to them, Freddie Blay helped them win the election when there was the issue, where the Paul Afogo Kwabena Japan issue happened. So if Freddie Blay helped you get there, and imagine in 2020, the elections, MPP win it again, assuming that MPP win the election again, would they not continue voting for Freddie Blay for as long as MPP is winning the elections?
Well, you just rightly said the special prosecutor is looking into Freddie Blay. So, on behalf of Stephen and team, let's hope he finds something.
Oh, well.
But that's a valid point, that if they continue to win and Freddie Blay plays his card right, it will be very difficult for anyone to want to vote him out. Because, I mean, you want to play it safe. Like the Honorable Kennedy Nyako said, if it's not broken, why fix it?
Exactly. So we spoke to, or Freddie Blay had also something to say, I think, post the victory. So let's take a quick look at that.
This contest has energized the party so strongly and yet brought us all together at the same time. We thank God for it. I will say on behalf of the team newly elected that we will now work on the unity of the party. We promise to work together in unity also. We promise to work together to faithfully serve our party so that the party will be strong enough to serve and back and defend our government under the leadership of Nana Danka Akufo-Addo. We are happy, but measured in our happiness. It's been a little contest. Maybe we hurt each other in a way, but it's a family fight. The fight remains in the family. We will now mend some of the problems that during the contest we might have created for each other. But one thing remains clear, and we want to send it right across to our opponents all over, that we are now determined not only to defend the government, not only to defend our gains since 2016, but to win in 2020 and beyond.
Win in 2020 and beyond. And he also goes on to say that, you know, they want to stay in power for 60 years.
Gee, I think that was a bit of an exaggeration.
Clearly, it would be an exaggeration. 60 years. You know, not that we are wishing them bad, but then human nature, you know, unless they put, you know, certain contingency measures in place, the fact remains that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So it's only a matter of time where they may be doing things that they themselves complained when they were in opposition about, you know, the NDC government or the NDC administration. So in 60 years, we don't think so.
No. I mean, first of all, as a voter, I don't go out voting for who wants to be in power for 60 years, right? I go out for who's going to serve me. As it stands right now, our economy could be better, our health sector could be better, talk about education. There's so much, public health, right? So once I see these things happening and I see that young Ghanaians no longer feel a need to leave the country for greener pastures, then maybe I really won't care who's in power. If I was in Rwanda, for example, perhaps I wouldn't mind. But as it stands now, I don't think the country is where it is for any one person to say we will be in power for 60 years. You have to first prove that you are worth that, because that's how you will earn our votes.
Anyway, so we'll go for a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll still be having our discussion on the just ended NPP Delegates confab, but you can join us on our social media handles.
Yes, the handle is Breakfast Daily, and our WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. 0550-585-832. We've received some of your messages, and we will be reading them right after the break. But we are your lovely host, Dziffa Ametam,
and Isaac Wilberforce Mensa.
Thank you so much for spending your Monday morning with us. We'll be right back.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
What one action have you taken? What one statement have you issued?
Well, we've been issuing statements, even this...
on the specific issue of...
This very one.
Of no bed syndrome. Since you are saying that you've had this before.
Well, we keep talking.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet. Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. We're going to delve right into the newspaper review, starting with the daily graphic. So there's a beautiful picture here of Freddie Blay. NPP affirms Blay. He's the 8th national chairman. That story is on page 3. There's a picture of Ibrahim Mahama here as well. Ibrahim Mahama adjudged African Industrialist of the Year. That story is on page 59. And MPP grateful to God for successful conference. That is on page 16. And finally, build harmonious relationship. President tells MPP post holders, and it's on page 16.
Okay, well, the Ghanaian Times says government recruit 8,000 teachers for free SHS program, as well as former Vice President Amy Sartha to be laid to rest July 27, and also at the new Patriotic Party's national officers election, it's Freddie Blay. That's what the Ghanaian Times has boldly written here. He beats Stephen Intin, Dr. Amakuba to become the new MPP national chairman. That's what we have on the front page this morning of the Ghanaian Times.
And on the front page of the new Crusading Guide, we have some really nice pictures, but let's start with, it says MPP confab. Freddie Blay, John Boadu, Sami Owuku retain positions as Akufo-Addo calls for unity. And that story is on pages 3 and 10. Anas bust rogue Hot FM presenter in another undercover recording. And finally, I'm still alive. Bawe Kwatie, head of family, declares.
Okay, the Independent, Mahama denies reports of him considering Dr. Johnson Esiama as his 2020 running mate. I think we should get to running mate after we finish the primaries. And PIAC to engage special prosecutor over expenditure of oil money. Clearly, Dr. Steve Mantia wants to go all out to enforce the provisions of the Oil Revenue Act. And the Today newspaper?
In the Today newspaper, naked robbery at NPP Congress. That is on page 4. I will commend the security there because I think it was very impressive, so I don't know about the robbery. NDC in secret meeting over Charlotte Osei, and they vow to torpedo Akufo-Addo's EC nominee. That story is on page 3.
The Daily Statesman. Lingering legacy of Rawlings and his PNDC. Also, TKO, NPP's new top team, Blay Nanabi win at conference. They win big at conference. And finally, Koforidua 2018 in pictures. You can see more pictures of the weekend's event on page 6 and 7 of the Daily Statesman this morning.
Yes, and in the Daily Heritage, ex-MP driver escaped death as car explodes on Oti River Bridge. That story is on page 3. Over 400,000 Ghana cedis in security safe at EC, says suspended chief accountant. And finally, government urged to reduce import duties on assistive device for PWDs. And the story here is on page 2, and their main aim is to support persons who are physically challenged.
Well, in business, the front page of the Business Day says business community wants government over falling cedi. This cedi is becoming a problem now. The rate at which the cedi is falling seems to be an issue of concern for the business community now and for all Ghanaians, of course. Many central banks will soon be irrelevant. The full story is on page 10. Very interesting story there. You should grab a copy and read. Now, Ghana lost 50% of its forest. And finally, Access Bank appoints new managing director.
In the Economy Times, government foreign borrowing for 2018 to hit $3 billion. Bank of Ghana to revise forex markets regulations. And finally, any starts gas production from Sankofa field. Sorry about that. That's gas production from Sankofa fields.
Okay. Now we want to look at a few more stories.
Yes, a few more stories. In the Business and Financial Times, we have banks must cough up extra 3 billion Ghana cedis to meet Basel requirements. That story is on page 3. Tax net needs widening, not deepening. That's coming from an economist and is related to the mid-year budget review. Indum calls for cap on interest rates.
Okay. Now, the Gold Street Business. Is your finance function tax effective? That's the first question the Gold Street Business wants to ask you this morning on its front page. And also, blockchain technology to revolutionize land administration processes. Government, IBM agreed to explore the opportunity. And finally, check frauds on the rise, even as banks turn to digitize systems. So that's what we have contained on the front page and more of the Gold Street Business paper this morning.
In the Chronicle, we have NDC eulogizes Amisa Arthur. That's His Excellency Pakwesi Amisa Arthur. MPP pick men for 2020 battle. The stories on pages 2 and 3. John Bordu is grateful to all. We want to be in power for 60 years. That is coming from Freddie Blay.
Anyway, NPP set for 2020 elections. I'm reading the front page of the Finder this morning. NPP set for 2020 elections. And also Ibrahim Mahama grabs 2018 African Achievers Award in London. The full story is on page 3 of the Finder this morning. Now, overcome complacency, power can trick you. Kofo. And interesting story here that I find very, very crucial. GJA to boycott upcoming forum with police. So Media Foundation for West Africa was hoping to get a form of a tete-a-tete with the Ghana Police Service, but GJA or through Afel Money has decided to boycott this particular thing since about 3 months down the line, nothing has been done in respect of the assault by the police against Latif, who is a journalist with multimedia. And finally, JC Bank shareholders vote to increase stated capital to 500 million. Well, congratulations. The Bank of Ghana, well, the central bank is asking for just 400 million, but you want to raise it up to 500 million.
Now, there are a few stories online as well that I think we should look at. citynewsroom.com, starting with the MPP conference, the winners and losers infographics. So what we showed you earlier, you can access them on citynewsroom.com. My loyalty to NPP unshaken despite fourth defeat. That is coming from Stephen and team, also on citynewsroom.com. Nana Addo reinstates Hajide ahead of Volta tour. Hajide is the former DCE. And NPP conference posters, not proper use of resources. That is coming from John Hayward, and we looked at that earlier.
Okay, now I think we will introduce our guest to start off with the discussion this morning. We are expecting the National Secretary of the Progressive People's Party, PPP, Murtala Mohammed, and well, he's on his way. He'll be joining us shortly. And we have also been joined by Godfred. Godfred is with Godfred Akoto, of course, is with our. He's the head of current affairs at City TV and City FM. Good morning, Godfred. Welcome
morning,
to Breakfast
Isaac.
Daily.
Good morning. Okay. You're looking awesome.
How are you feeling? You have a big smile on your face.
Oh, tired.
Why?
But it's Monday. Well, the MPP made everybody tired. they made it a long 2 days. You know, over the weekend. Started on Friday, went through to Sunday. But hey, it's all for the good of the news, and we're back to face it.
Yes, yes. Were there any highlights for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. For me, the speeches that were read, I liked the one from the Conservative Party rep.
Why? What about it did you like?
Him talking about the opulence on show, which was very obvious. There was a lot of opulence on show, something you don't expect from a party in government. I think we've seen that over the start of our democracy, and it's something that needs to change. And I think it was interesting that somebody from the NPP's sister party came and made that point to them that you don't do that. You don't have to show people this kind of wealth, especially when everything is not right with the economy. That was interesting for me.
But wouldn't you say that is who we are as a people? I mean, you go to funerals and people are showing off. Even the song that they played throughout the elections, which is like Mishira Namba. I went home and I watched the video, and it was all about materialism, right? Like, that's our idea of success. We've made it. So that's how we are as a people, isn't it? Our culture.
But it needs to change. You know, if we want to make that kind of strides, we need to be able to paint a different picture, show people a different kind of mindset, especially for people who are in governance, especially for people who are saying that, look, we are poor, we ask you to tighten your belts, come along with us for the ride. And then I turn on my TV and you are there having a good time whilst you're telling me I don't have an ambulance. So somebody might say, yes, let's separate government from party, but we won't separate government from party. Because you can't tell me the government has no money, but the party has money. Where did the party get the money from? So these are considerations that need to be made. I think that it's not just the MPP. We will look at the NDC. They have one coming up. We saw the one they held 4 years ago. Magnificent. I hope they don't show us a reduced version.
Oh yeah, but to be fair,
but you just say we took
no, because that tells the story.
No, to be fair, it's important to look at the fact that, you know what, these individuals, you have to separate party from, because what an individual decides to do with his personal finances has absolutely nothing to do with the government. If Chairman Freddie Blay, absent him being GMPC boss, if he decides, in my capacity as Freddie Blay, and these funds you can't say are from GMPC because fine. So if he says, in my capacity as an aspirant, I'm deciding to do all these posters, you understand? How then do you say that it's a problem? And looking at the fact that when you're standing for an election, 90% of the time, you're not even going to be the one to even pay a single cedi or peso for a poster. People would actually do this for you.
But that's the point that everybody is making. The message matters. It might be your personal money. It might be from funds that you've raised. But to the people out there, the message matters. And the message is this, that we are a careful, considerable party in government who are capable of managing resources even in hard times. So you don't need that show of opulence to have a successful
election
conference for people to know that, oh, this is a party that is doing well. No. And that is why, for me, I was very interested in what former President Kufuor said. He spoke about the insidious seduction of power. And for me, that was the key theme. I think it's a message that should be put on tape and sent to all political parties across the country to listen to when he says that, look, when you're in opposition, you see things differently. When you come into power, you see things differently, and you start losing sight of the things you went through. You start losing sight of the message that you preached to people for them to vote for you. And he does not want his party to get there. He does not want them to become complacent. And he says from where he sits as a former president, from where he sits as an uncle of the party, as he said, he feels that slowly they are getting there. He is saying this on that platform to get them back on track so that they can move forward. So if you have somebody like former President Kufuor coming back to say, I'm warning my party about becoming complacent, about the trappings of power, it tells you something. And for me, it's a message I think they should take to heart. It's a message they should take to heart. I also was interested in the message of the majority leader, the Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu. Spoke fantastically well. He spoke about the need to improve our governance, the quality of people the party sends into parliament. He spoke about how the party should become a bit more nationalized in terms of its elected leaders. So, and then we had the president also talk. And I found it interesting that he focused a lot on corruption because for him it was key to put out the message that unlike the party he replaced, the NDC, who had a lot of accusations against it for corruption and seemed to do very little about it. He's had allegations against members in his government, and he has taken actions against it. He spoke about the reinstatement of the Honorable Pius Hajide, Deputy Sports Minister, who after he was suspended in April, and he's been exonerated by the CID. So apparently he's starting work today. He spoke about the Ghana Football Association that he's dealing with. He gave us a litany of incidents that he is investigating. He mentioned Martin Amidu and the fact that work has started. So he went out of his way to preach to the Ghanaians and to his party that, look, corruption is happening. It will not go away, but I am fighting it, as my reputation has always said. And for me, those were the highlights of the conference.
Okay. Thank you very much, of course, Godfred Akoto. Now, we have also been joined by Michael Omari-Wadie. Now, Michael Omari-Wadie, we know that he won, he was one of the winners of the elections over the weekend on Friday. So we are happy to have him here on Saturday, the election on Saturday. Good morning, Michael Omari-Wadie. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
And congratulations.
Thank you, my brother.
It must have been a busy weekend for you.
Okay. So, Deeth?
Just firstly, your own highlights from it as a candidate. How did it feel?
It's been tiring, tedious, touring the whole country, visiting the 275 constituencies within that period of time. It hasn't been easy. Sleepless nights. Sometimes you drive through the bushes, you arrive, you speak to the people, you continue driving, you get to a hotel around 2 a.m., the next meeting is at 7 a.m. It has not been easy. And thank God, today here we are, celebrating victory. It tells you and I that hard work pays.
Anyway, so you could have actually won the election because apparently you lost by roughly 600
No, I did not
votes.
lose. I
mean, you could have been like the first vice chair.
Yes. We went in, we wanted one, and they gave us 3.
That's fair for
Yes. If you ask for one thing from somebody and he or she gives you 3.
It's also acceptable.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yes. So we'll just start with Mr. Stephen Ntim's speech, right? So my loyalty to the party is unshaken. I'm going to read a story from City Newsroom and then we'll discuss it briefly. He goes on to talk about, defeated aspiring national chairman of the governing New Patriotic Party, Stephen Ntim, says his loyalty to the party has not waned despite his recent loss. Mr. Ntim has attempted the position 4 times in the past 20 years, but has been unsuccessful throughout. So I'm going to quote him now. It is rather unfortunate that I have to lose for the 4th time in my attempt to serve the party in the capacity of national chairman. It is rather unfortunate that I have to lose for the 4th time in my attempt to serve the party in the capacity of national chairman. However, once again, it is a victory for the new Patriotic Party because we have succeeded in electing our new crop of national officers to steer the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. As usual, my loyalty to the new Patriotic Party is not shaken by what has taken place. We can continue counting on Stephen and team as usual because it is party first. Thank you all very much. Now, this was the speech from him. Did everybody feel this way?
Well, let me also congratulate my chairman, Freddie Blay, and wish Stephen team to better luck next time. I had also contested. That's my 3rd time too, and I know how it feels when you lose in elections. And
how does it feel actually?
Just as you are imagining. Very, very. I don't know which words to use, but it's not pleasant at all. But he's gone. Yes, this is his 4th attempt. He was. Do you know he was once the vice chairman of this party?
Yes.
Yes. And if he had stayed as the vice chairman, I believe he could have stayed all this while.
Yeah.
But any attempt to jump higher can either take you higher or down. That is life. If you're on a ladder and you are comfortable at a certain position, you want to go the next step, you wouldn't know whether that bar there is strong enough to hold you. If you attempt to go up, it can really. Are we good?
Yes, yes, please go.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yes, anything can happen, and well. I wish him well. I wish him better luck next time. I listen to his tape. He says he's ready. He's still going to be in the party. He's still going to be loyal to the party and the cause of the party. Let's keep it like that. We also extend the olive tree, get him on board, make sure we are together as one, serve the party, move forward. One person cannot do a political party. You need all hands on deck. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. So we can increase the margins that we got in the 2016 elections. We know what we did, even though, and we are only praying that they bring the same candidate. So we can also do the whole thing.
Okay, Godfred, you're laughing. Why?
We're only praying. We only pray that they bring the same candidate. At least he's an old. We know him. And we know what he has done before. And that will give us the confidence based on what Nana Koforidua is going to do, and is doing. We will definitely.
You only pray that they bring the same candidate in the person of who?
Oh, the people who we are going to contest with, Sir John, Sir Mahama. Sir Mahama.
I just wanted you to be more specific. Yeah. Now, did you indeed want, or did you have a preference for chairman, the chairmanship position of the party?
I was focused on my campaign.
Okay.
I knew both I knew all the three, but I was focused on my campaign.
Okay.
And I knew I could work with anybody but I preferred the winner because he's been there. He's brought us from opposition to power, and he has a solid track record. And going with, you don't change a winning team. And he being there knows us in the position, knowing where we are now, can easily move us to where we want to go. If we decided to change, we had decided to change everybody and brought new people. It was like going in, learn new things before you take off. But these guys are there, they've been there Blair has been there, John Boadu has been there, Samir Oku has been there, Abankwa has been there. So we already have the people who know what went on or what's going on in there. So we're only going to ask a few questions though, and we believe at the end of the day we'll be good to go. We will have I thank God we have a very solid team. I've looked at those who won, yes, and I believe lot will happen. Yes, okay. Lot will happen.
Interesting. Now, what do you feel about Dr. John Hayward's statement about there being more posters than delegates and the opulence, and he finding it to be a waste of resources?
Yes, from where he sits, from where he's coming from, in London, you just can't go and be pasting posters on people's walls. But that's how we do it here. It's like marketing. Somebody decides to put it in the Daily Graphic, put it on City TV, put it on, even send, what do you call it, flyers on by WhatsApp. It's all part of getting your information across. But over here, Ghana, that's what we do during elections, during funerals. If you want people to know what you're doing, you either do posters and stick it out there, and he has not seen that before. so he was worried. He felt that is opulence, but that is how we sometimes something that you think is normal, somebody sees as a taboo. Okay. So that's how he saw it, and he communicated same. But we have to look at it as a nation and see whether printing and sticking around the city is good enough. It's not good enough. We must find different laws. If we have to learn from them, we have to do that. But it's all a way of sending messages around, convincing people about your product or your brand.
Okay, Godfred. So start firstly, Stephen, in Team's speech. What did you make of it? Do you think all candidates should grace defeat in such a manner, and do you think he should try again?
Well, I think he's a different kind of politician, Stephen in Team. I mean, he's a dyed-in-the-wool NPP guy. This was his fourth attempt, his fourth loss, but it hasn't affected him. If you look at the kind of work he did for the MPP in the 2014 election, I think he was the sectoral head for Bono Ahafu, Eastern and Ashanti for the Nanado campaign in the 2016 election, sorry. And he did a magnificent job. Unfortunately, the party's delegates did not deem him fit to give him that reward of voting for him as chairman. But he's always come through for the party. He's never complained. He's not one of those people who you find quoted in the press criticizing the MPP for one thing or the other. He's always been a party man through and through. He always leads the line, toes the party line. So if he says this loss isn't going to affect his loyalty, I take his words for it.
I listened to that too, and as a politician, was thinking, why will you use that? Yes, somebody was the chairman. He won the whole nation. And you say you were put in charge of how many regions?
He has three.
3 regions. And so you can do it better. I don't know whether you get there. I was the chairman. I won the whole nation. But under me, you worked for within 3.
But Mr. Wadie, that's a bit unfair as well, because when did Mr. Blake become acting chairman? The sectorial positions were given in 2014. So he had quite a bit of time to work on that. Mr. Blake became acting chairman after the National Congress, and then we had all the issues that came with it. And I don't think he was taking credit, but the Bono Ahafu region, let's be honest, had been problematic for your party. 3 elections you had lost. In fact, prior to the last election, the NDC owned that region, 16 to 13.
I am not disputing the fact that he worked, but I'm only saying that as a politician, if you make such statements.
But he never made those statements. I made the statements.
It was out there.
It was out there. Right now, Godfred
he used it. He used it. And I said, no, if you want to get what you want, you don't use those things. Because if you are doing proper assessment, analysis of what happened, I was the chairman. I won the whole nation. You work within 4 constituencies, regions, and you say you are more powerful than me and you can deliver better than me. If I had gotten a chance to meet him, but I didn't meet him, I would have told him that no, your communication is good, but tilt it better this way, it will help.
Okay,
Godfred.
I understand the point he's making, but I just think that you put your best foot out there. Yes. You understand? He felt that is what best highlighted him in that regard. Now, Dr. Bawumia uses the success of the MPP up north. Yeah. He takes credit for it. And you can't take it away from him. Yes. He must take credit for it because he played a crucial role, irrespective of whoever did what. Yes. Everybody understands that the MPP's gains were due to the magnificent work that he did. So if I hear him somewhere one day saying the MPP did well in the northern region on account of the work he did, nobody can take that away from him. Yes. Irrespective of who was party chair at the time. I just feel that when people work, give them their due. You understand?
But according to Omari-Wadie, what he's saying is that it should be, I mean, if you're supposed to give people the due, imagine it was 100%, then he should be taking credit for 30%, but the entire 100% should go to the chairman, who took care of all 10 regions. Okay.
Which is fair. I'm not disputing that. That is fair, but I'm also saying that in the context of the competition, I am saying you gave me the hardest work to do. I was the one who lived in the Bonav region. How many times did the chairman come there? I'm implementing a strategy. What if I had implemented it poorly? You gave me the eastern region. The one region that the NDC itself had set a 1 million vote target. The MPP wanted that region back. They got it back. The Ashanti region, they wanted to increase votes. They increased votes. Okay, so let's just say everybody did their job well, you know, under the circumstances. But like I said, Mr. Intim, solid MPP guy, he's going to go for it. Like chairman here, everybody knows that. I remember him first from school at the university. He wasn't one of those. He worked assiduously at Ayawaso West Wogan, I think. That was the constituency. That was when I first heard of him back in 2000, I think. You know, and he gets credit for a lot of work done in there as well. Will he say he's not going to take that credit?
Will you not take that credit?
Anyway.
Okay, there's a story here. NPP, okay, posters, not proper use of resources. You touched on this earlier, but I want us to dig deeper because chairman here said it's our culture and we are flamboyant, so that should be it. But I just want to quote John Hayward. He says, I came through the streets today and I saw so many posters of wonderful candidates here in this conference. But I had to reflect. I think I saw more posters than delegates here at the conference. And I wondered, is this really the best use of our resources? Now, I don't know if there were 8,000 or 6,000 posters. There might have been a bit of an exaggeration there. But he goes on to say, I have a lesson from the Conservative Party which focus on the voters. Voters are less keen on parties and focus on their internal processes. So voters are less keen on parties that focus on their internal processes, And I hope you can benefit from my experience as I encourage you to go forth from here today and focus your time, efforts, and resources in reaching out to the voters of Ghana.
Culture shock, yes. But I still think he has a solid point. I still think he has a solid point. You see, the thing is this. Once you put on that kind of display, you raise the expectations of people. Yeah. Because my expectation is, well, if you can afford this, why can't you afford to help me? Yeah. You can't. There is no way the party can say, well, it was party resources and not state resources. And so limit your expectations of what the government can do for you. And that is why I feel it's a bit problematic because you're just putting pressure on yourself. Yeah. Okay, I think there's nothing wrong with a poster here or there. But some of the things that we saw over there, some of them were not posters. They were billboards. Yeah. They were basically billboards that we saw there.
Multiple billboards.
Yes, of one person. How many times did you need people to see you? The delegates knew you already. Yeah. This wasn't a popularity contest amongst the nation. Yeah. It was a popularity contest among 6,000 people you've been campaigning for a year and a half to get to know. So why did you need extra sets of billboards to tell those people I am here, vote for me? You understand? That is where the good sense comes in. So from where I sit, I just feel that perhaps proper judgments could have been exercised with regards to some of the things that we saw. And that is all that they are asking for.
Let's wait till he contests an elections.
No, please.
And then let's get then he decides because the British man has said we shouldn't do posters.
But Chairman, you will admit that.
Let him do that.
We are
Dr. Makoba.
Richard Makoba.
Yes.
Who contested for the chairman?
Yes. You saw his posters?
No.
How many posters did he get?
I don't know.
So does Blue Box work or not?
I don't think it does. Maybe it's a standing within the party.
Well, that's the point I'm making. That is what flies. So if you want to change it, you can come and take that risk. Come and say, yes, I want to contest, but I will not do billboards because it's expensive and the man says it's opulence. So we will not do. Let's see how many votes you get. Okay. That is what we want. You want to sell something. You want people to know what you can do or what you want to do.
But on the macro level, you do agree that we're still dealing with poverty in this nation, right? So even in Koforidua itself, how many mouths can one billboard feed? And if you come into a town like that and you're showing off, what do you think the people there would think? Right? So it's all about perception. It's one thing to say this is our culture. We go to funerals, we show off. And another thing...
It's not show off.
Okay, so what
you are focusing, you want people to know what you have. It's happening in churches now. We see billboards with pastors' images on them. People have been complaining. I say, so how then do you want them to know their message and know Christ?
Okay.
You see, it's all about reaching out to people. And I don't know whether you know the budget for CD on marketing or promoting your brand.
What is it?
CDFM.
No, what is your budget? What was your budget?
For
your campaign,
for my campaign.
Yes.
I'll just finish. So I need to go and check whether...
Because this is my last question. You've been working on this for...
the point I'm making is communication is expensive. Marketing, promote. If you go to any institution, the biggest budget goes to marketing. Any serious organization, any serious institution spends a lot in promoting what they have. If I'm wrong, tell me.
Yeah, right.
Is it right? Right?
Yes.
But what I wanted to ask you is, if you've been working at this for a year and a half, is having 1,000 billboards at Koforidua going to change my mind? If I already know your work ethics and what you're going to do for the party.
I use that Amakoma example. He is purely academic. I don't know, somebody said he came to do academic exercise. It's good. Let's try and see whether that thing works or not. So let's use his example. He decided to do what he's learned from the books. And let's see the results of what has been reading or what he read from the books to what exists, what goes on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want results, you don't go by the books. Go by what works in the very exact environment or surroundings that you are operating in. Over here, this is what works. And I'm not saying that billboards votes, because what we saw in 2016, the giant billboards of Mahama, yes, like Samira said, we've seen you. We know your met. When we see your picture, this is what comes into our mind. So you must first know what you are selling and then how to sell what you want to sell.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. Now, I want us to move on to another story. NDC boycotting the NPP conference over EC and NIA issues. So these are more or less the reasons given by Fred Agbenyo of the NDC for this particular one. I know Fred Agbenyo is the Deputy Communications Director for the NDC, and those are the two main reasons he gave in respect of same. I'll start with you, Godfred, on this particular story.
Well, I don't think the NPP will be very bothered by the NDC's absence.
Thank you.
But is it not a dangerous precedent that is being set by the NDC? Because, look, if NPP, there'll always be issues. Yeah. If NPP, for instance, retain power in 2020, by their next conference, by their next delegates conference, there will be issues that the minority will still have with the majority. So does that mean that flowing from this, they are not going to attend any of such events?
The thing is this, in the rules of engagement, there is nowhere that says the NDC have to accept the invitation. In fact, there's nowhere that even says the NPP has to invite them. They do it out of courtesy. So if you decide to show up, it's up to you, whatever the reasons may be. I think it was in proper form to have shown up. And we've seen political parties show up at other parties' conferences to make statements. Everybody remembers the Blonya from Ivor Green Street when he went to the NDC's conference and basically ruined it for them with that particular speech. But the thing is this, they felt they wanted to make a statement against the dismissal of Charlotte Osei. They felt they wanted to make a statement about the NI. They've been making those statements right up to the build-up of the NPP's national conference. This was not going to make a difference So I honestly did not see why they decided not to show up. Honestly, if those are their reasons, I just feel it did not really matter.
So the perception of division between the NDC and MPP, do you not feel that this overt action of inaction has further brought, deepened the division between these parties?
Whatever it is,
and supporters of these parties, I must say.
I don't feel the supporters will take it as much, will take it as seriously as that. And honestly, Mr. Wadie, I think the NPP will tell you they don't really mind at this point. It is their conference. Whether they decide to show up or not, it's up to you.
Okay. So, my Wadie,
if your ex decides not to show up at your wedding, do you go cry? you thank God. Because if they had been there, we don't know what they were even going to do. We don't know what they were going to say. Now they said they wouldn't show up. We said, thank God. Whoever gave them that idea, we thank you. We went on, we had a very successful conference, and we are done. Let it go. They are saying what? That they were warning Mr. Arthur? Wow, interesting. They should have looked for better. I think they should consult my brother. At least he can give them some ideas. But how to communicate such, I don't want to say, but how to communicate properly. But I think the excuses they gave out there, if you listen to it, look at it and see whether it wasn't good enough.
Okay, so you are not bothered by it. Okay, and I just want
Why should we?
Sorry, I just want to take a step further, okay, before we move on to our next story. I just want to take a step further, just really quickly. Do you feel, in your opinion, that in the election of the chairman, do you feel the 275 buses influence voters in any way?
The buses are not for the constituencies.
They are not for the
constituencies. It is not for the, if I'm a chairman in a constituency and somebody buys a property like that, it is not mine. It may facilitate my whatever I'm doing. And they are even saying that the pass is not even going to the constituencies. It's going to be managed by an institution. And the profits or the proceeds goes to them to perform whatever they are doing. Marvelous thing. But I don't think that they voted because the chairman had done this great thing for them. It is not about what goes to the constituency, but what they get from whoever sits up there.
So, and as of now, you're unaware whether the buses are for the party or for Freddie Blay. You're unaware of this fact.
No,
because if it's for the party, you're going to be vice chairman of this party. So you're unaware whether the buses are for
the chairman. Well, I've heard we have just been elected. We've not even met to know what exists. Today, I think this week they'll give us the freedom to rest, and then after we'll start probing and get proper briefings on what. But what I heard the general secretary and then the chairman was saying was that they met, decided to secure a facility to procure these vehicles, give to somebody to work with, so the proceeds can be used to perform the duties in the various constituencies. Until these things came in, we were doing donations.
Okay.
You remember, I don't know whether you signed up to that. Did you sign on the 1 cedi per month thing? And we think it is not giving us enough resources. Somebody is being innovative. Why can't we use, leverage what we have and to procure these vehicles so it can give us more income for us to perform? It's a great thing. I have several ideas that we're going to put on board to raise or generate money for the party to perform. And that is, I believe, what they have started. We are going in there to support and make sure, but don't be complaining when we start working. At least it's for Ghana. We need to raise money. With the old ways of, I don't know whether I should call it corrupt ways, where people pay political parties to perform, and later they come for their portion of beef. We must find a way to generate money. And it's done all across. I don't know if you know of that. If we're able to do things that will generate money for us to perform, that would be great.
Yes. Okay, so we're moving away from this weekend's election. Another great news that we heard, at least for Pius Hajide, the president has decided to reinstate him. Now, there's a story here on My Joy Online that says suspended deputy sports minister to be reinstated by the president. So President Koforidua has disclosed that suspended deputy youth and sports minister Pius Hajide has been exonerated from any wrongdoing in the Australian visa fraud scandal by a police report. Now, this story was published on the 7th of July. There's another story on City Newsroom that says, Nana Addo reinstated Hajide ahead of Volta tour. That's the, so here, a former district chief executive of Akachi North, James Gunu, has questioned the sincerity of President Akufo-Addo's decision to lift the suspension on Deputy Sports Minister Pius Hajide. He goes on to say that, in fact, we would have prevented the president from entering Volta region on Monday. The youth and opinion leaders are not happy with his decision to suspend the deputy minister, but his decision to reinstate him has paved the way for him. That is why I am saying that he had to quickly lift the suspension because of the tension he picked from the grounds. It is not for any outcome of an investigation. What are your thoughts on that?
Who is in?
That is coming from the DC,
a former DC,
of the Akachi North, James Gunu.
NDC, DC, or MPP?
Yes, he's a former DC. He will be an NDC, DC.
So what were you
James
expecting from
Gunu.
such person?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on it?
I mean, what else were you expecting from that person?
No, but I mean, generally, don't you find it a bit interesting that prior to the president visiting the
board, he was thinking the president should have gone there, returned before he acts or work on something who's an individual who has been cleared of any wrongdoing. That should sit on his desk. Wait till he goes to the region and come back before. Who decides for the president when to do what?
So it's just coincidental?
No, the guy has been cleared. And it's lying on the president's table. He says, go ahead, go and perform your work. You have been cleared.
On the same day that the president is also touring Volta?
No, when is president touring?
He starts today, actually.
And when was he cleared?
Well, he starts work today as well.
The thing is this. I heard about this 2 weeks ago, that he's been cleared. You know, so I think the president decided to make the announcement at a larger forum where he could get voices. But for being cleared, he was cleared 2 weeks ago. The report
and he's even started
2 weeks ago. But for me, what was interesting about that particular one was I was hoping to hear about the other individuals because he wasn't the only one. There was Robert Safu Mensah, former member of Parliament. I don't think he's been cleared. His name was not mentioned by the president. And then there was the Honorable Kojoba, former member of Parliament for Agogo, I think, who was also he was board chair of the National Sports Authority. He was also investigated. And we didn't hear about these two, and I'm a bit interested in now hearing why we didn't hear their names on that platform. Perhaps it might not be a good omen for them.
So, I mean, it feeds into the narrative. I mean, the president could have still waited.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to give information about, you know, the one person being cleared, then at least the other two, I'm sure it would be a full report.
Yes, it's from what I'm told, it's a very large report. But then again, you can't really fault the president. He can only give highlights. And again, he was addressing his party members. Okay, he was addressing his party members that we are working against corruption, A, B, C, and D. And even our man, who was investigated thoroughly for the past 3 months, has been exonerated. So it tells you that our people are working and our people are not corrupt. So I can understand the president's line of thinking in that I am also just worried for those two. Because they're also strong.
The board chair of the National Sports Authority, especially, is what I'm wondering. You know,
because he was in the last video as well.
Exactly. Sorry, Omari-Wadie, on the same issue.
The president decides when he does whatever he wants to do. I don't think it's fair for us to be forcing him to do things, or he does things and we criticize, why have you done it at this time? I remember recently the Supreme Court's appointees.
Yes.
Yes, people were talking about why now. I said, when? So when? If you do it early, wahala. If you do it later, they say, why have you delayed? So when? Let's give the president a time to do whatever he believes and wants to do for you and I. He asked that the prior steps aside, and he has been cleared. And he is saying he heard it 2 weeks ago that he has been cleared. And he says on this big platform, he announces to the whole world that yes, he has been cleared and he has been ordered to proceed to the office. I don't think he told him, Pius, on that platform that he can go to work. He had done it long ago. But at the point he needed to announce. And like you were saying, he needed to tell people, let people know that the corruption allegations that is coming on his appointees are not true. And that's the point he made. That yes, some people are corrupt in Ghana, but for who those I have selected, this is what I have. I keep saying Jesus Christ appointed 12 people, apostles, right? Yes, among the 12 that even Jesus appointed, Judas was in there. So if somebody has done 110 appointments, more than, and he finds one person, it wouldn't be, but as much as possible, I keep praying that human beings are human beings. Let's find a way to control our emotions and let's get things done for Ghanaians. I've been telling them when we meet, and that is, I believe, what people will do. The president he can do anything he wants at any time as dictated by the Constitution. It's not what the Akachi former BCE will say. The president has done it. And I believe the people from Volta region are happy. Pius and his family are happy. Myself, I'm very, very happy for Pius. I met him and it was all, it's good. And I got to know that he has been cleared. I'm saying that he's even started working. But the announcement came from the president. And I don't know why people have a problem with the president announcing on a political platform that our people are not that corrupt as people want.
To be fair, the NSA boss has not yet been cleared per the president's announcement, I believe. The National Sports Authority.
Did he mention that?
No, I'm saying he has not per the president's announcement.
Did he say they have not been cleared?
Per the president's announcement, I said.
Because the president did not mention that. You are saying that they have not been cleared.
Yeah, so per
or
his
you know, you have information.
No, I'm telling you, Omari-Wadie, that per the president's announcement.
But that does not mean this man has also been cleared or not cleared.
I have not said that he has not been cleared. I said per the president's announcement.
They have not been cleared.
He has not mentioned that he has been cleared. That's what we're saying. That's all. Okay, so we'll go on to our last story for today.
We'll just take a quick break. We've not had any breaks, and I'll read some messages that we've received from you guys before we go on to the break. So Alice Kube says, I think the Conservative rep just nailed it. Remember, if it were about the visibility of giant billboards, flyers, and posters, then Mahama would have won the 2016 general elections. Congratulations to Pearl Anum for graduating with first class honors. And then Teacher Constitution says, we thank God NPP had a successful Congress. Better luck next time to all those who lost, especially Mr. Stephen and team. We have lots of work to do in 2020. Wolanyo from Akwetia says, the NPP is a party for all that rewards hard work and commitment. Every Ghanaian from any political tradition is welcome. When, where, and how someone joins a political party matters not in MPP anymore. I think you're speaking on behalf of the party. I don't know about that. But yes.
So our last final story.
Yes, our last story. PIAC to engage special prosecutor on oil money expenditure. The Public Interest and Accountability Committee would soon hold a meeting with Martin Amidou, the special prosecutor, over the disbursement of revenue accruing from oil resources. Dr. Stephen Mantiao, chairman of the committee, has disclosed. So he's looking into the oil revenue, right? And he underlined the need for all unspent ABFA, that's annual budget funding amount allocations in a particular financial year, to be returned to the Petroleum Holding Fund to ensure accountability, and expressed worry about the excessive use of oil revenue on recurrent expenditure rather than investing in capital projects. What are your initial takes on that, Chairman?
Well, I have been, since we found the oil, advocating for how to use that newfound wealth. That time was saying that we should rather, instead of using it for any other expenditure, use all the revenues in educating our people. I believe that will be the best way to spend that money. But unfortunately, we advocated, Mahama came, they made a law and said some be kept where should be kept. But I still stand by that. If I'm given the opportunity, I will insist that revenue, for at least the next 10 years, be used in spending, educating the younger generation. And that education, you can't take it from people. If you do roads with it, within 10 years, the road may go back. But if you educate your children, you are building a better future for the nation. You understand? So for them, and I've been asking, do they have the data on how those revenues were spent under NDC? And why did they not complain then? And why are they complaining today?
Well, Chairman, I really would like us to not politicize this issue, right? Because even if you're educating the next generation of Ghanaians and we don't have the infrastructure, where are they going to work, for example, right? So if you invest in capital projects, it at least influences the employment potential.
I have kids, yeah? My business, I wouldn't want to go there, but
please go there.
No. The fact that there are no jobs does not mean you should not educate your kids.
Yes, but we're saying by all means, educate your children.
And the children, some children, at least the guys who sells on the street, I see them, my heart beats goes up. I think we should find a way to educate them, jobs or no jobs. But once they get educated, sometimes people are even training people like exporting. You give them this education, there are no jobs, export. They will bring even remittances for us to use. So instead of doing roads, building what they call infrastructure, which I can't find, I went around, they said they had done so much infrastructure and my car got stuck in this infrastructure. Let's use the money properly. The best way to use your money as an individual, as a community, is to educate your people. I am saying that we should look at even that law and see how we can amend and make sure revenues from this oil at least be used in educating, putting up infrastructure for education, making sure our schools are well resourced and prepared to take. That is the best. It is not about keeping it in the bank. They said we should reserve some for. Reserve for what? So that our children don't get education. Keeping it in the bank, if you have money and your kids are not in school, which one would be better? Keeping the money in the bank
for
them?
He's actually saying
training them or putting them in school.
He actually said invest in capital projects, right? So he's not necessarily saying keep it in a bank, but we do have
according to the existing law, a portion should be kept. They said heritage fund. And I said, why should you put money for children who are not being educated? What are they going to use that money for in the future? Instead of the heritage fund, that money should be education fund. Training, at least if it's giving scholarship to I've been arguing on this for a long time.
But on this particular issue, I think I'll come to you, Godfred. On this particular issue, he has not complained about the Heritage Fund per se. You know, the Heritage Fund and the Stabilization Fund make the Petroleum Holding Fund. Now, he is looking at the fact that we are spending almost all this resource on free education. Initially, I think, personally, that Steve Mantial may have shifted the goalpost a bit. Initially, he was saying that the amount of money channeled into free SHS was in breach of the law. And now he comes back to say that, okay, so he's forwarding this to the special prosecutor because he's uncomfortable with how the monies are being used for recurrent expenditure instead of for capital expenditure. So now he moved beyond the law part because that was extensively discussed on this same program with two lawyers. We discussed it intensively and then realized that it may not necessarily be in breach of the law. being pushed into free SHS. Now he's also looking at other angles where GRA and the likes have withheld certain amounts. Exactly. Now he wants to forward this to the special prosecutor. Is he going overboard? Is he being a bit vindictive, or you think he's in his rights to do
That's why I think.
Godfred, let's hear Godfred's thoughts on this.
60 wants to be heard.
What else? What is his motivation? What does he want to achieve?
He wants to enforce the law. He wants the law to be enforced. The Public Revenue Management Act. The Petroleum Revenue Management Act.
And then he takes it to the special prosecutor for what? To prosecute who?
Whoever may be.
That is what I'm saying. He wants to be heard.
Okay.
Interesting thoughts.
We'll come back to you.
Chairman, questioning the special prosecutor.
Are you questioning the special prosecutor, Chairman?
He wants somebody, at least he says the special prosecutor, and you send something to him. So who is he recommending be prosecuted?
Well,
is who I'm talking about.
Well, the thing is, the thing with this whole incident is that the PIAC has been very uncomfortable. One, not just with the GRA withholding money, I think $13 million it is, that they cannot find at the moment. But the data shows that over a period of time, over about the past 5 or 6, if you go to the data, there are a lot of projects that have been named that you cannot find. Now, these projects were purported to have been constructed with some of these funds. So there are hospitals we have not that are named in documents that have budgets claimed to have been finished that you cannot find anywhere in the country. There are roads that have been built with this money over the past 5 to 6 years that have been named that we cannot find.
Don't you think that should be the area?
That's where he's going.
Yeah,
that's what
one of the areas.
It is what he's looking at. In fact, it's something that he's been talking about for a while, that he toured the entire country to find these projects. There was a school with a football pitch and everything. He went there, he could just see bush. And so he asked, where is the school? Where is the football pitch that the oil money is supposed to have constructed? And there are several of these examples. And there is cause to worry because these things have been paid for. So who took the money? You understand? And I feel that we need to investigate these things. We've heard the Minister of Information try to explain the misunderstanding between the money being with the GRA and how it's going to be sent back. I think that can be sorted out between the two institutions. But I feel that for all that money we've spent in infrastructure, that's where we cannot find the infrastructure using our oil money. He, of course, needs to go to the special prosecutor to investigate. He needs to go to the Auditor General to investigate. He needs to go to the police, if need be, to investigate. Let's find the individuals, let's find the institutions who went for this money, who built these ghost projects that we cannot find, but have been paid for it. For some of these projects, you're talking about $2 million, $3 million, on hospitals that we cannot find. Meanwhile, we're claiming we don't have hospitals. Where are the hospitals? And for me, that is always the fear about having oil wealth, that people find ways around it and how to illegally benefit from it. For me, PIAC, on this particular issue, I back them fully. Find out who chopped the money.
Yes.
Okay.
Any last
final
comments?
comments?
I like that one. When we are finding out who, like you said, projects they claim has been constructed with this money and we can't find the projects. Yes, that one you go to special. But as to how they are using the money, how on whether on projects or on, that is where my concern is. We should look for who has chopped, because there are several projects that I know that has been done, some done, but you go to the oil fund, it was done with this oil resource. You go to Get Fund, the same project has been described as being recorded as being done by Get Fund. So you ask yourself, so somebody took double money for this same project? That's what we should be looking at. But as to how we are using the money, I think that heritage fund should be rather converted into education and make sure we train and educate our people. That will give us a better future than using that money to do roads and build bridges. We should look at a better way of spending our money.
Okay. Last comments, Godfred.
Well, my comments on those are just what I said. The waste with the money from oil has been a bit too much. I think PIAC, I think they should even put out the data publicly for people to see, so that if you are in Esuchari or you are somewhere and they say we have built a school in Esuchari using money from Ghana's oil and you cannot find the school, come and tell us. We need to know these things so we can arrest people.
Okay, so I think we'll...
See, to help to solve those problems was why they had, there was a law that said any government project should have bill telling what the program, who's project and all that. People were not doing that. At least if the consultants or whoever will see that this project is being financed from where, if they don't want to get 2-3 institutions to fund the same project, they eliminate that, and you end up get fund paying or your money paying, and then you have GMPC paying for the same project, and the rest of the money goes to. It's sometimes the roads that's why I'm praying that they bring the same old. Mahama. Yes, we'll have some more to discuss.
Thank you very much, Michael Omari-Wadie. He is the 3rd National Vice Chairperson of the new Patriotic Party.
Let me thank delegates too.
Please do, really quickly.
Yes, I toured the country and then I saw the challenges on the ground. I asked that they vote for me, and here I sit as a national officer. I heard your plight, and we're going to work on it. Thank you also for giving me 3 instead of 1. Yes. I asked for 1 and they gave me 3, and I appreciate that. We will still use it to work for you. Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my sister.
Okay, so thank you very much once again. The 3rd National Vice Chair of the new Patriotic Party. Congratulations once again. And also, we're also joined by Godfred Akoto Boafo. He is the head of current affairs at City FM and City TV. Thank you, Godfred, for joining us.
Up next, we're going to learn about ways of preserving our health, right? So some of us that were in Koforidua over the weekend, barely got any sleep, right? And we really need to think of our own personal development as much as we think of our national development. Do not go anywhere. Remember to continue the conversation with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. We want to hear from you. If you have any questions for our next guest, let us know. And the WhatsApp number is 0550 585-832. 0550-585-832. Do not go anywhere. Breakfast Daily continues.
Every Thursday night on City TV, you're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more.
Sometimes some of the guys are like, oh no, they want to wait before they get married.
So they're little response.
Oh, I'm saying, hold on, lady. What if she does, or they kiss and all of that?
And still nothing.
That's it.
If he really wants you like that.
You see, so it's like,
Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Also, live on 97.3 City FM.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
What one action have you taken? What one statement have you issued?
Well, we've been issuing statements, even this...
on the specific issue of...
This very one.
Of no bed syndrome. Since you are saying that you've heard this before.
Well, we keep talking.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
As you see me so, I may have a million problems, maybe have 1,001. I decide to chop my own like a morning bread and butter. Don't be say I don't respect my life. They say life is how you may come. Charlie, forget you be here because the way they come, so them for go. Maybe I have a problem past me, and maybe I have a problem past you. Cause I'm kinky, cause I did a pen. Zozo, 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 Moirawa, Zozo, Zozo, Zozo. Make your own life, make your own world, make your own happiness. Kakatanka koa, Zo Moirawa. Hey, I say I tanka fanka. Hey, I say I tanka fanka. Hey, I say I tanka fanka. Zenim kinky kada zote da pen. Make your own life, make your own world, make your own happiness. Kakatanga koa, so wainawa, yenting it on it, yenting it on it. Cause any kinky karazate da pen, tabula rua, eh. Wake wale bafi de jenefe. Make your own life, make your own world, make your own happiness. Kakatanga koa, zo moirawa, imakatwa, zozo kairawa, zo. Oh, yenting it on it, yenting it on it. Cause any kinky karazate da pen. Zozo moirawa, moirawa, hey. Wake wale bafi de jenefe. Zenim kinky. Zenim kinky. Even if you go on stray, me and you all are go still there. You know they care what people go say, cause our love still there on replay. And until me don't know well, me don't know well, me don't know well. Tibbity-boo, me don't know well. Me don't know well, me don't know well, me don't know well. Me don't know well. Share a town food to moving for me, go for your bad so the purpose of the page in my yellow. No, you need your madam. Never take on my personal. He knows when to touch. Many ladies know survive. Cause on your brandy, the woman in your BTS, or don't see, you no cry. I pass a year as a mother for Gio. He's the sweetest thing I've ever known. You Coco Sakura, and I do Bubu Makuma. One touch for Mammy Aripa, for Merita. We pay you Coco Sakura, and I do Bubu Makuma. One touch for Mammy Aripa, for Merita.
Ha! What a blessing it is to start our morning and continue to enjoy this beautiful, brilliant young woman's music. We're going to learn more about her throughout the show. But we're going to talk about our health. Most of us don't think of our health until we are sick, right? So when we're sick and we have to be rushed to the hospital, it's the only time that we actually think about our health. But we have to be a bit more proactive about preserving our health. And our next speaker is going to help us understand ways to preserve our health, natural ways, right? So if you're having sleepless nights, or if you've gained weight, or you're stressed out, we're really going to look at ways to preserve it and also prevent them so that we don't have to go to the hospital. We're being joined by Steve Konu, who is a health enthusiast. So he's going to help us really understand it all. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
How are you?
Thank you.
How was your weekend?
The weekend was great. I went to the Volta region and came back yesterday.
Welcome back. I was in Koforidua. Now, tell me why it matters for us to think about our health. Do we think about our health enough as a people?
Yeah, I think health should be something that everybody have to consider. You know, a lot of people drive good cars and they take good care of their cars. They change the oils and, you know, they make sure the brake pads and everything within the car works pretty good. But they don't think about your health because we live in an era where you see a lot of people are sick, and sometimes I think people die unnecessarily for lack of knowledge. And the reason I say that is...
I think the Bible even says for lack of knowledge, my people...
Yeah, for lack of knowledge, because, you know, something simple like if your arteries are clogged and your blood is not pumping good and, you know, you go to the hospital and they are giving you medication to lower your blood pressure, that is not really good because the body works in a way like the body always wants to heal. So if you have clogged arteries and your blood is not pumping good because of the clogged arteries, the body's innate intelligence is to pump blood because it knows that if the blood pressure is low, the end organs like the kidneys and the livers and you know, some of the organs in the body, they will not receive their oxygen and the nutrients. So the body's innate intelligence by way of homeostatic correctiveness is to increase the blood flow so that the kidneys and the livers and all the other organs, they will receive their oxygen and nutrition. So now if you go and you're pumping blood-lowering medication, what do you think is going to happen? The end organs are not going to receive their nutrition and oxygen. So that's the reason why you see people who are on blood-thinning medication, they end up with things like stroke and cancers and all those stuff because the end organs are starving from oxygen and nutrition. So that's the reason why the body itself knows if it doesn't increase the blood pressure because of your clogged arteries, you're going to die. So it's saving you in a way. So these are some simple things because even the blood pressure medication and all that stuff, actually, if you're sometimes, you know, when you go measure your blood pressure, you know, it can't really give you an accurate, you know, it's not going to be accurate because sometimes if the blood doesn't flow fast enough from the kidney to the liver or to the heart, it does that between a period of 2 hours and later it goes back because sometimes you need to ask yourself, were you jogging to the doctor's office or did you have stress on the way or did something happen? Why your blood pressure raised up? Because if you are sleeping, what happens? Your blood pressure goes down. If you are jogging, blood pressure goes up. So some people, when they go to the doctor's office, they are scared, or maybe they get some type of panic attack or something like that, and the blood pressure goes up. So if you just go and you take blood medication and you are lowering your your blood pressure, then you end up with things like stroke, cancer, and diabetes and all that stuff. So that is something that's very simple.
But how do we start the journey of naturally preserving our health? Like if I wanted to live a better lifestyle today, where do I start from?
Living a better lifestyle, you see, a long time ago, we used to eat everything fresh. We never had things like processed foods, canned foods, the nitrates and the nitrites in sausages. People were not eating pizzas, the macaronis and the spaghettis and the noodles and all those preserved food. We're not eating those things because all those are dead food. You see, I always tell everybody the best food to eat is food that was just recently alive. If I say food that was recently alive, you had things like yam, cocoyam, cassava, plantain, the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, and the beetroot, and the carrots, and the cucumbers, and all those stuff. They are live food because you can see those food are foods when you put down, it doesn't take long for the food to start to decay. But if you go eating things like pizzas and macaroni and all those stuff, even the cockroaches, the mice, they don't touch those food because they don't have nutrition in it. You don't have nutrition. And what happens is if you eat those foods, you know, the little minerals you have in your body, like the magnesium, the silica, the borons, and the magnesium and all those stuff, they will have to be used to flush out the poison you just ingested in your body. Because body doesn't operate on dead food. It needs live food. You have enzymes in all this food I'm mentioning, like the potatoes and all those things. And the body always needs enzymes. You see, when you eat food, it's the enzymes that make everything work. The enzymes go to repair cells. Every day we lose like a billion cells in our body, and we need to replace it. And how do you replace the cells that you lost from your body? You replace it by, you know, live food. You don't replace it by dead food.
So anything that rots or spoils is acceptable. So let me see if I get this right. For breakfast, maybe instead of, can I drink hot chocolate, or I should make mango smoothie instead?
Mango smoothie is the best because it's live food. You have enzymes.
But the chocolate is also from cocoa, but because it doesn't spoil.
Yeah, right. The cocoa is coming from seeds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it has nutrition, just like some herbs, dried herbs, and all those things.
So I can still have my hot chocolate.
Yeah, you can get your hot chocolate, but it depends on the way you prepare it. If you put homogenized or pasteurized milk, then that is bad news.
So what kind of milk should I put in?
You know, you need live milk that just came from the cow, unpasteurized, uncooked, because you need the enzymes. Enzymes is the name of the game. Enzyme is what is going to, what do you call live. I'm talking about live milk from the cow, something that can cure tuberculosis. Because the bacteria in it, that is what cures disease and things in your body. If you eat food, the enzymes, that is what kills things and repair things and do a whole lot of things, metabolic, you know, activity in your body. Live food.
So speaking of remedies, what are some diseases? What are some alternative remedies to diseases?
Oh, there are a lot of them. You know, a lot of people got things in their kitchen, like the cayenne peppers, you know, the turmerics, rosemary, sage, thyme, oregano, coriander, cilantro, all those stuff. All those are herbs that can cure a lot of things. You know, for example, somebody getting cancer, you know, the black pepper, this round black pepper, you have a chemical in it, you call it piperine. And turmeric, it has a chemical component in it called curcuma. If you combine curcuma and the piperine coming from the black pepper, it's 100 times more potent to a cancer cell than chemotherapy without any side effect. And if somebody is in the process of getting heart attack, dying, all you need is just get 2 tablespoons of cayenne pepper. You mix it with a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar. If you mix it and you give it to the person, it's not possible for the person to die with heart attack. Because what happens is the cayenne pepper busts clots, blood clots. It's a clot buster. The apple cider vinegar dilates the arteries, the veins. So you have a two-way combination. Heart attack is gone. And you have it right in your kitchen, but people are dying of heart attack. If you're getting heart problems, you need things like magnesium. The cheapest way of getting magnesium, you can get it from the shop, Epsom salt. Everybody knows Epsom salt. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. Now you have the magnesium, which is good for your heart, it's good for the brain. Magnesium is what produces ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That is the energy currency for the energy we have. If you see somebody who's lack of energy, you don't have ATP. And Epsom salt gives you ATP for the heart and for the brain. And at the same time, too, it also detoxifies the brain of glutamine toxicity.
Okay. So how do we use the Epsom salt? What exactly is that?
Epsom salt, it's also a salt. You know, you buy from the shop.
You hear iodized salt all over the place.
Correct. This is magnesium sulfate. So you get a magnesium and then you get sulfur.
Okay.
Sulfur is a mineral that takes out toxins from the body and it also brings oxygen into cells. Everybody knows that people get cancer because the cells are dying of oxygen.
Wow.
So if you pump in Epsom salt, that's a good way. You can take a tablespoon of Epsom salt, mix in a glass of water, you drink it.
Once a day?
2 times a day, you are set to go.
Okay.
And at the same time, too, it's bringing out aluminum and some bad things inside your body. And people slim down even with Epsom salt.
What else? What other tips can you give us towards making the choice? Because I think for some of us, so you're coming from a scientific background, you have a lot of research, which I'm going to ask you about soon. But for those of us who see bad food, as you say, food that may not die around us all the time, every time we are hungry, those are the kinds of foods that comes to mind, because we want to eat what we see on television, what we see on billboards, right? And most of the time, the marketing of these products are associated with someone who's happy, right? So if we want to replace them with healthy foods, how do we start that process, and what kinds of things should we be consuming, perhaps maybe for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
You know, for breakfast, like I said, you don't need dead food. With these sausages, they are loaded with nitrites and nitrates, and all those things, they give cancer. So if you wake up in the morning, you can eat yam, you can eat potato, you can eat cassava, you can eat live food. Okay. If you go eating cereals, they are dead food, as a matter of fact. Chocolate is a different story because it's coming from the cocoa plant or the seed, and it already has nutritional value. It's just like coffee and dried herbs. Those are different things. But anything that has been processed, enzyme activity killed off, those things are not actually good for your body.
But you can have bread.
Bread is neither good. That's bad news. Because bread, it depends on what type of bread. If bread is made from things like maybe almond, rice, bread.
Wheat bread, butter bread, tea bread.
Yeah, they are all very bad. You know, the baddest thing you can ever put in your body is wheat. Because wheat contains something you call gluten. Gluten, gliadin, and aminopectin A. And the gluten is a protein. You see, a lot of people talk about gluten-free or a problem with gluten. Gluten is it's not really a problem. The problem with gluten is the family of gluten coming from things like wheat, barley, rye. Okay, those are very, very difficult for the human body to digest. Very, very difficult for the human body to digest. You know, things like cassava, yam, cocoyam. Almost every type of food in this world has gluten. Gluten just simply means something that glues. Okay, starch, that is gluten. But wheat gluten is the most difficult for the human body to digest. And the easiest gluten that the body can digest comes from rice. That's why you can see around the world a lot of people eat rice. You can eat rice, you don't have a problem with it, because the gluten in rice is very, very easy to digest. And the problem with gluten is when you consume gluten coming from wheat, barley, and rye, the body tries to digest this. That's the default way of the digestive system. If you eat food, your body has to digest. You don't digest it, you got a problem. And this gluten coming from wheat, barley, rye, when you consume it, the body tries to digest it, it doesn't digest. What happens is, as time goes on, it punches microscopic holes inside your intestine. Yeah. So with this microscopic holes in your intestine, now you eat healthy foods like maybe broccoli or cucumbers or carrots or all those stuff. They sneak through the holes in your intestine created by the gluten from wheat, barley, rye. And normally, you don't have, proteins are not supposed to go inside the blood. That is the reason why bacteria, all those things, the protein, you get problem with it because they are not supposed to go inside the blood. When you eat food, they're supposed to break down into amino acids and other micronutrients, for the body to use. So these microscopic holes in the intestine, and then you eat things like maybe broccoli or cucumber, even though they might be good food, they sneak through the microscopic hole in your intestine, and then it meets the immune system, because the headquarters of the immune system is situated at the stomach. Okay, so when it sneaks through the intestine now, it means the immune system, and then the body mounts an antibody response, and there you get allergy. So those are the causes of allergy. Wow. If you eat things like broccoli or tomato and you get allergy, it's coming from the gluten you ate that punch microscopic holes inside your intestine, and then you get allergic response.
Wow. So I'm curious how you started this journey. Why health? What sparked your interest in health?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's interesting. Actually, at first, I would say I was as dumb as a fence post. I knew nothing about health. I was not interested in health. I ate everything. I ate pizzas and all this stuff. But what happened was my son was born in 2008. He was born perfect. He was born healthy. And then he took some vaccine shots, and he reacted to it, and he got autistic. So, I went to the clinic, and the clinic said, yeah, there's nothing they could do, and it's something that is, they told me it was from the genes, I mean, they told us it's something that is within the family gene, and there's nothing they could do, And I started doing my own research, and I found out, the story about things coming from genes, like people, family history and all that stuff is all a lie. Wow. So I started doing my own research, with the autism stuff, and, started treating him and doing a lot of research and working together with a homeopathic doctor I found for my son. And he was also a very good doctor. He wasn't somebody who was like, I know it all, so, hey, you don't have to tell me anything. If I did any research and I found something good, I went to him, told him the science, and showed him stuff. And he saw that, yeah, it was good. So we worked together, and then I started doing a lot of things, and, my health wasn't also in the best of shape. I had some few issues myself, and did my own research and did things, and things resolved. Wow. Then I saw that, hey, this is nothing that is big. Everybody can do it. Yeah. You see, everybody listen to this show, you can do it. You don't really need it. A doctor, he doesn't know what is going on in your body. So you are yourself.
We shouldn't leave our fate in the hands of medical professionals. We should also be active in the process.
Yeah, the thing is, if you are involved in an accident, maybe T-bone, you are involved in an accident, and your bones are broken or things like that, or maybe in some trauma, then you need a doctors, because they're going to put back your blood in your bucket. So definitely you need them. Or maybe you are, exposed to some nasty infection or something like that. Definitely you need them. But if you want cure, if you are suffering from any debilitating disease, and you go into the hospital and nothing is helping, you need to take it into your hands. Try to experiment, do things to your body. Your body is always talking to you, giving you information, but we don't listen. If you eat food and you see maybe your pressure goes high, eat food, just sit down nice and slow, take it easy, maybe after 10 minutes, do some pulse reading, and if it goes 6, 10 above, then you know that what you just consume is not good for your body. So those are simple things, and like I said, you are within your body, you know yourself, you know the way you feel. Yes. And a doctor is not in your body, he doesn't know the way you feel, and sometimes they also try their best, they are good, like I said, trauma, surgery, things like that. But if you want curable disease, there are a lot of herbs around, you see, and the food. And there's also one thing a lot of people are not ready to do. If you have cancer and they tell you have 2 months or 1 month to die, if you want the simplest way, very simple, it's not going to cost you money. All you need to do is just give a break, sit down, fast. It's in the Bible too, there are a lot of Christians listening. It's in the Bible. If you fast, after 43 days, if you have diabetes, cancer, whatever you have, it's gone, and you look younger.
What are the benefits of fasting, and how long should you fast? Maybe 6 to 6, 6 to 12?
The thing is, if a machine works every day, sometimes you need a break. And the human body, your digestive tract is always working 24/7. Your heart is working, the liver is working. Sometimes you need break. You can do like maybe 3 days fast, 5 days fast without eating food, just drinking only water. If you people who do fast, for the whole day. People who do fast, if you don't drink water, it's going to damage your kidney. Okay, So all you need to do is just stop eating, sit down, drink only water. It's not going to kill you. 30 days, 60 days. People do fasting 60 days, they don't die. If you don't breathe 5-6 minutes, you start getting brain effect. Your brain will start dying.
But you can eat solid food at 6 after the fast.
What I'm talking about no fasting. I'm talking about no food.
Oh.
Because myself, sometimes I do 5 days, no food, I drink only water for 5 good days, okay? What happens is that if you don't eat food for a period of 72 hours, after 72 hours, the glucose level, everything in your blood, muscles is burnt. What the body does now is to start consuming plaque in the arteries. If you have tumor, your body will start using that as a source of energy.
Yeah, that's ketosis.
Ketosis, right? Yeah.
But
your body
not
goes
everybody
ketotic.
has enough fats to go through ketosis for a week or 2 weeks, you would admit. Like someone like me, I can do it because clearly my body can break down the stored fat. But would you advise everyone to do that, or maybe a few days if you know your body type?
No, actually, it doesn't mean that if you're fatter, you can do it longer than somebody who's slimmer.
Okay.
Because the liver, the brain produces this keto. Actually, we have 2 types of energy for the body. We have carbohydrate, sugar.
Yes.
That burns energy. Okay. But the best source of energy, the best source of energy for the body is ketogenesis.
Okay.
That's for the brain.
Okay.
The brain actually works better with ketogenesis than using sugar as a source of fuel. Yeah, the brain needs more fat. It works on ketogenesis better than using sugar as a source of energy. Actually, what happens is if the default system of using energy, burning energy for the body is sugar, glucose. But another way also is ketogenesis, because when you're sleeping in the night, you're not awake to eat food. So the sugar level burns out, and then the body switches to ketogenesis.
And that's why our brain, is that why our sleep, our dreams are, does it have anything to do with how active we are at night?
Yeah, right. When you're sleeping at night, your brain is resting, it's not burning out. It doesn't need a lot of energy. So, ketogenesis, that is the alternative way of replacing sugar if during the night you are sleeping, you're not eating food.
Okay. So any last words for us? Any advice you would like to give us on preserving our health the natural way?
Oh, okay. There's also, another way of preserving our energy and keeping away from sickness is also things like exposing yourself to a lot of light in the night. Yeah. The human, when a baby is born, you are born with 2 types of DNA. You have DNA, you have a nuclear DNA, and we are also born with mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrial DNA is what is inherited from the female germline. And it came into the human body about 3 million years ago. And mitochondria is inherited only from females. Yeah, so, well, I don't want to be controversial, but it's a question mark that if a woman came out of man, So, well, what I want to say is, keeping at night, if you expose yourself to light, a lot of light, if you see bright light, you have a lot of blue. We have a lot of blue. The blue light is very dangerous for our health, and blue light is something that destroys our mitochondria. And everybody knows mitochondria is what produces our ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So if you expose your body to light in the night, the hormone that is supposed to produce from your pituitary gland, that is called melatonin, it's not going to be produced because the brain tells the organ that it's still daytime and it's not night.
Okay, so sleep in the dark.
Yeah, you sleep. So in the night from 9:30, that is when we start to produce our melatonin.
Okay.
And melatonin is something that tells our cells to die. Some cells die within 6 weeks or 6 days. If those cells, they stay beyond 6 weeks, they turn into cancer cells.
Okay, thank you.
So if you don't want to get cancer,
sleep in the dark.
Sleep in the dark. No cell phones, keep it away, and then, then you are good to go.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Steve Kun. How can we reach you if you want to learn more?
Well, I'll believe
an email? Oh, you give it to me and then I
Yeah, I'll give it to you and then you can give it to anybody who is interested and they want to work with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been, I've learned so much and I hope you guys have too. So the 3 points I'm taking away is eat food that rots fast, right? So any types of foods that go bad in 2-3 days are the ideal type of food you want to eat. Make sure you sleep in the dark. right? You don't want to expose your body to light in the evenings. And then finally, something about the enzymes and the cause of allergies. So what was it how do we resolve that allergic reaction?
Allergic reaction, if you eat any type of food like the gluten.
Exactly.
And the
avoid those
things.
So that they don't sink into your body. Now we're going to learn more about our beautiful singer. We've been enjoying her music all morning. So we're going to learn about the woman behind the music. Lamisi is with Wilberforce. Wilberforce?
Yes, thank you very much, Dziffa. Now, we have moved from, health, and now we're speaking about music. I mean, music is also food for the soul. It's also healthy for your body, according to some people. But now we have been joined by a musician who has been performing. She has performed twice already on the show, and she'll be telling us more about herself. Good morning, Lamisi. It's an honor to have you here.
I feel blessed.
Okay, so what's Lamisi's real name? I want to get into Lamisi's life.
It's really long ago.
Your name is really long?
Yes, so I was born in Regina, Lamisi, Awiniman, Anabila Akuka.
I serious? That's a whole sentence?
Yes.
Okay, so Regina, Lamisi.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So, and you've been doing music for how long, you say?
I've been doing music professionally for about 7 years.
7 years now, professional music. But I want to know what type, how would you describe the sort of music
well, I
do?
launched my solo career last year in May. Yeah, and then my style of music, the genre is the world music genre.
Wait, before we go on to the genre of music, you mentioned something. You said you launched your music career in May.
Yeah, my solo career. Actually, I've been singing, but like not as a solo
okay, so you're
artist.
singing in a group.
Yeah, in a
the name
group,
of the group
in
initially?
Patch Bay Band. I think they've been here several times.
Okay, Patch Bay Band.
Yes.
Okay, you were like you were part of the group. You were singing in the group.
Yeah, I was the lead vocalist. We are two of us, me and a guy.
Okay, and then you decided to part any specific
well, it was
reason?
something that was supposed to happen, but you know, everyone has a plan or a goal in life. So when the time is due, then you just follow your dreams. So.
Okay, so it wasn't your dream to be part of the band?
That was my dream, and I'm still affiliated to the band.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then
I'm still pursuing my solo career, but you know, because I started, I'm not too busy, and moreover, too, I'm still in school.
Oh.
So.
Where?
University of Ghana.
Oh, nice.
So I'm still with the band, and then the band is always there. Like as an artist, well, my percussionist is still in the same band, so I still perform with the band.
Okay.
I've not left the band or anything like.
Okay, and how are you doing solo? Do you feel like being in a group was more, impactful for your career, or being solo is what's doing the magic for you?
Well, I don't see any magic.
You don't see any magic being done
to
now?
me, it feels the same. It feels the same. Only that now I think I need to work twice harder because I need to really focus on my studio works and then my image is up. But besides that, everything has been the same. Maybe because I've not been too busy as an artist, and well, I'm prepared for it. Like there's nothing really extraordinary or magical.
What are some of the things you're putting in place to get you? I believe you have a vision, a particular place where you want to get to, or you feel you're already there as it stands right now? You have a particular place you want to get to?
Yes.
Okay, so what steps are you putting in place to get to this particular
I'm
point?
really working hard.
I want just to get into the working hard.
Okay,
meaning...
yeah, I take my recordings, like my productions, really serious. I don't just come out with any music at all.
Yeah.
Regardless of how expensive it might be, I prefer to just do it right and then do music that can really project me globally, not music that will give me hits and you're walking down the street, people are saying, hey, let me see, and then you just wave. No, that's not really my goal. I want to make an impact. And then before you can make a global impact, you can't just do anything. You can't just do any kind of music and then make an impact globally. That would just be hype, but not really an impact. So I'm really working hard, and then maybe you should listen to some of my songs, and then
I've listened to some of your songs. In fact, before the show started, Dziffa and I, we have this session that we do, and we listen to music while discussing modern events and what's actually going on. We're listening to your music the whole time. You're really talented.
Thank
so we
you.
knew you actually before we saw you.
Great.
Okay, I saw you at the reception, right?
Yes.
And we knew you even before we saw you. Your music is that good. Okay, so back to the point where I was getting to initially. How would you describe your music? Because you're using drums and all sorts of, and even modern instruments. Okay, so how would you think this? You're using local drums, let me put it that way, and more Western guitar instruments. So let's get the set.
It's because of the
music.
setup of the studio. It will not permit us to have a full live band setup and all. So I had to manage with this acoustic, the acoustic instruments.
Yeah. So how would you describe it? What genre would you say you're doing?
Yeah, like I said, my genre is the world music genre, and the world music genre, like you can't just compromise anything. Like if you are doing it, just do it right. So it comes with a lot of, you know, how do you call it, hard work. You have to put things together and then all of that, because I could have just come to play it back and then sang and go. But the nature of my songs, they are such that the beauty of it doesn't really come out doing that. So I still need to find a way that we could manage and still perform live.
So So you call your genre world music genre?
I don't call it.
Your genre is world music genre. Okay. So how then would you? Or let me even look at the stages that you've been on and the stage that you project yourself. You see yourself doing global music. Okay, you want to do music for the global community, not just Ghana. Cool, super. Now, what's been the biggest stage you performed on so far?
The biggest, well, I can't say the biggest, but I've been on a couple of big platforms like the VGMA.
What's been the funnest one for you? Oh, the VGMA.
Fun. I think maybe when we travel out, that's always fun.
Travel out, as in where?
We've been to Japan, the World Trade, Yokohama Trade Festival, and then last year we presented Ghana at the Astana Trade Festival. And then Ghana was third of all the performances in the world that came to perform in Astana. So
you were there with who?
Yes, I was there with the Fusion Band, where it was artists from different bands, so it wasn't really one band. I was there with one dancer from the National Theatre, and then I think it was just a 6-piece band, and we performed. It was like a musical theatre.
And at that time, were you in the group, the old group, or you were solo back then?
I am with my group still, but I'm a solo artist, so I don't have any contract with the group.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm free to move out. If I'm busy, I tell them I'm busy. And then depending on what they are doing, that makes me part of them and not part of them. So it's a mutual thing that they understand. And then definitely as an artist, when I have to perform, I still need to perform with the band. Yeah.
But you prefer to pay them for a service, not share everybody.
Well, I can't pay them.
Okay, but you're doing wonderfully, I must say. And then I want to look at which artist would you compare yourself to, or would you say, you know what, this artist is a fabulous artist, but then I want to be bigger than this artist?
Well, I don't see any. That's the funny thing about me. And then people sometimes think I'm controversial. But the truth is, I don't have any particular, that one artist that I'm saying I'm looking up to this person or I want to be like this. No. That's just the strange thing about me. I listen to different kind of artists. I listen to dancehall, reggae, African music, traditional, all. And then I pick inspiration from each one of them. Maybe I like one particular artist because of the way they dress, or maybe because of the way they held the microphone to sing, or just because of the way, you know, they sit and then, you know, like, so I don't have that particular one person that I'm like, this, I want to be like this person. No.
Or you want to be better than this person?
Well, I think I'm one of a kind. Let me say it that way. And then I'm always thankful that I don't sound like anyone, or I don't try to work in the images of any already made artist. I also try to be Lamisi. And then that's just me. And then the reason why I'm very proud that I don't look up to, like, I don't copy someone is that sometimes when you have that one person you always listen to, they influence you.
You might sound like the person.
Yeah. So when you try to sing, you are singing and then you are imagining that person or imagining yourself trying to be like that person. And then you might not know. That's the thing. It's not like it comes deliberately. No, people don't know. But in the end, they go like, oh, wow, you sound like this person. Then they go, oh, yeah, that's my role model.
Okay.
I mean,
thank you very much, Lamisi, for joining us on Breakfast Daily. And you will perform for us again before you go. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, Breakfast Daily continues. If I'll be joining me for us to sign out and say a big thank you to you.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complex. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Akoto Boafo for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on City TV and City 97.3 FM.
Beautiful Monday. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. My takeaway from this weekend is that in the long run, grit matters more than talent. So let's brace the week with all the grit we have. Let's work hard and we will make it.
And speaking of talent, Lamisi Music on all social media platforms. You can reach her, and also she has a website, lamisimusic.com. And happy birthday, to former Chief Vandal Zina's Swoosh Asante.
Okay, thank you guys for joining us. We will see you same time tomorrow. Do not go anywhere. Lamisi Music will end with us.
Body so you're balling on Tima. Body so you're balling on Tima. Oi, Nangalam Fagakala you way. Oi, Nangalam Dakai Kafulipta. Matua Saleku, Udem Bangti, Nangalim Yelm Ye, Bunyangerita Bunyang Yasel, Matua Saleku, Udem Bangti, Nangalim Yelm Ye, Bunyangerita Bunyang Yasel, Fuyatile Kula. Winam Yamadu Fukula. Hey, Telepo Wendibaka. Anamisa Wakamanda. Matua Saleku, Udem Bangti, Nangalim. hustling.